Questions are, who are you? And what are inner vision transmissions? Which is what these are. Who are you and what are inner vision transmissions? Who am I? And what are inner vision transmissions? Those are two questions that I don't have enough time to answer both in the depth that they both deserve. So I'm going to go with one. I'll briefly try to give you a quick overview of who am I in my perception. Who's speaking to you right now? And what that perception is for me. And then, what are inner vision transmissions, which is what these are right now. Form precedes function. Form comes before function. Form determines function. My certain form, who I am, this body, this passenger, who I perceive myself to be, and how I perceive my movement in the world can be described lots of different ways. It's just words. Doesn't matter what language you use. There's many languages. But it's still all an attempt. It's all an attempt to use words to describe something that's happening inside to somebody else. And words, they're a limitation, aren't they? Everything's a limitation, isn't it? In its own way. We are so limited, you and I, but that's our magic. Why inner vision transmissions? What's the point? Well, form comes before function. My form can be described using the language of human design as a projector form. All that means, in my experience, not with words, in my experience of life, what that means is that my body operates differently in different environments, in different situations, in different ways. It operates differently, just like all of yours. I have a projector's form, and I'm not going to go into that right now. I have a hermit personality with an opportunist body, a friend body, and a hermit personality, 2-4, hermit opportunist. I have an emotional authority, which means my body lives, it sees through its emotional chemistry. I have an emotional motor, chemistry motor, that is always operating on a wave, a specific kind of wave. I have a tribal wave. Ratchets up, ratchets up, ratchets up, ratchets up, and explodes. I have an emotional authority. That means this body goes up and down in its emotional experience, in its chemistry inside. You know, that's how it is in here. You know, everybody experiences their chemistry in their own way. This is mine, in my way. Part of what I've had to learn about my body and how it operates is that my cognition, my internal cognition, my passenger's awareness, my Duran, my personality, Duran, my name, how it grasps what is happening in life at every level, okay? Because of how my body operates, inner vision, my cognition, my intelligence and my cognition operate best when my eyes are closed. When I close my eyes, when my eyelids go down, it blocks out a huge amount of stimuli, visual stimuli for me. And because I'm so sensitive to many different stimuli that are not visual and that are not auditory, there's a lot going on in this body. This body is sensitive to a lot of things. Please don't think sensitive means negative or weak. That's ignorant. Sensitive means more receptive. You get more of it. You get more access to the nuance of what's there. I'm very sensitive to lots of things. And when I close my eyes, my body is able to stabilize. It's able to orient itself. You're going to notice that I'm sitting with my back against a wall. I'm in a corner. I have a cave environment. It's just a word to describe a certain interaction between my body and its environment, a certain genetically predisposed way that my body fits into the environment. What's natural for it? What just works best for it? Please see that every human is not designed to operate at its highest potential in every environment. Not possible. That doesn't mean we can't operate in all kinds of environments. I'm talking about your potential as a unique individual. There's a very unique environment if you want to operate at that potential. If you want your body to begin to know how to operate at that potential, at a different potential than, whatever that means to you, there's a very specific environment and way to process the outside world, to take it into you, and to understand it. So the reason for inner vision is because that's the language human design uses. My cognition is inner vision. My body is inner vision. That means I grasp everything better with my eyes closed. I actually see better, not this way. That's a very mundane, basic, physical, gross way. I'm talking about seeing on all the ways, grasping, understanding, so mine works best. Now, that's not the point here. The point here is I'm doing an inner vision transmission because it's a certain method that I'm experimenting with. My body is experimenting with this. I have a hermit's personality and a friendly body, a networking body. My body wants to build a network. My personality wants to hide away in a cave, doing its own thing, and not to be bothered by anybody. Yeah, I have this dilemma: personality, body, personality, vehicle, passenger vehicle, right? We all have this in our own ways, different ways. Everybody's different. This is my way. And so, in order for me to feel more and more comfortable, because of what I've experienced, my body and my whole perception has experienced in the past about networking and sharing things and speaking, and you have to understand, for a hermit whose personality is identified with just wanting to hide away and do its own thing, speaking, sharing from what's inside me outside to you in a clear way, it's not something that I, just jump at. Because the times I have jumped at, usually don't end up well for me. Not in any way. It's just, it's frustrating, and I get bitter. These are all chemistries that happen in the body, just words to describe different chemistries of just, when things don't work out, they're just inefficient and they're not working. So I have this hermit's personality, and my body is saying, hey, you need a network. You've been hiding away long enough. You've been sitting in here doing your own thing, your natural thing. You've been amassing information. You've been amassing knowledge for years, trying to share it here and there. It doesn't work. Didn't have the right words, didn't have the right language yet, didn't have the right environment yet to truly see, didn't have the right way of eating yet, didn't have the right awareness yet, didn't have enough awareness yet of how this is really happening. But it's happening. And so my body is now saying, hey, we're going to create an environment that's more comfortable. We're going to sit here, relaxed. We're going to close our eyes. We're going to pull the blinds down. Get nice and dark in here. And then, when everything is relaxed in the body, cognition is there, the intelligence is there, the sight is there. I'm not thinking about what I'm saying. My body is just saying. It's processing and it's speaking through its throat, through the throat mechanism. I have a very specific throat mechanism. One voice, I'm not going to go into that right now. But I have a lot to share. This body has amassed a lot of things. Very precise depths of information that, to be honest with you, my passenger doesn't know 99% of what my body has stored in it, that it's able to give to other people. It doesn't even know the warehouses of information that are stored in there. Something that I've had to learn as a projector in my own experience is that I have to be invited. I have to be invited by another person. That's why this is such a very interesting experiment. And actually, what's happening right now is that there are transits. Planets are moving through my throat center, and I have throat activations and connections in my system that I don't normally have, which means I have access to different information and a certain flow and way of speaking that I don't normally have, which is why this is such an interesting experiment, intervision transmissions. The way this really works is this. I'm a projector and I'm like a well. I'm 3 parts right, 1 part left. That means I'm deeply receptive and I don't know even a glimpse of what I have in here to give to you. And what I have is not for everybody. That's why this is an interesting experiment. It's not for everybody. A lot of people aren't going to register and resonate with it. It'll be abrasive or offensive or weird or the hell, fucking crazy ideas, right? Yeah. I'm not designed. I'm not able to impact masses of people. That's not how I work. That's why this is interesting. I connect through networks of friends. The more you know me, the better you know me, the better I know you, the better you know yourself, because I can share, I guide, The way this machine works is that there's a deep well here. I don't have access to it. I sit by the well, right? I sit by the well and just watch. I watch people come to the well, and whatever people ask, a response comes out of the well. They pull it out. Not even consciously. Yeah, there's conscious words and things, but there's other things at work, especially when you're in person with me, when you are in my aura, which that is, you want to talk about not letting people in a hermit. It takes a lot to get in my aura. Really, for real. There's a lot of layers you have to go through to really get to me, to get what I have to give. But it has to be pulled out, right? And the level of questioning and the depth and the precision and all those things, the level of questioning determines the level of response and the quality of response and depth of response. I sit by the well and watch. And I get my own little bit of magic when I watch the interaction between you and me, my body. And I get to see what my body responds. And I get a glimpse. This is my magic. I get a glimpse. When I'm watching my body respond, give something to somebody else who has asked for it, who's come to the well and asked. It's magic. It's awareness for me. It's really cool. I get to know more about myself through my interactions with other people. That's my value, which is why this is interesting, I'm interested in what I have to say because I usually don't have a voice like this. My voice, I have a voice of memory. People ask me, and whatever you need and the way that you need it comes out of me to you. Super interesting to watch it happen. So inner vision transmissions. In a way, I wanted to experiment with a structure, a form, a system, to see what I could learn about myself through you. Because I know in order to learn about myself, I have to do it through the other, by watching the other come to my body, come to me, and our interactions. And I know through those interactions, the other is provided value. They're provided a very specific type of value, very specific. This value is surgeon-like, surgical. This is not value for the masses. This is not general concepts. Eat your vegetables. Exercise. Walk 10,000 steps a day. This is not that. I'm not docking that. I did all those things. Oh man. I did all those things. This is very precise and it's very surgical. And that hurts sometimes, when you open it up, when you have somebody with words that opens it up and they share back parts about yourself that you didn't realize, or you didn't want people to realize, or you didn't realize that other person, realized about you. This is just what's happening. And mechanically, my process is this. My one throat is actually, it's the 33rd gate, and it's the gate of retreat. And so my process really, I don't do live things. Like live things, that's not how my voice works. I have a triple split, and I need to process at least a day, depending on the level of what's there, right? If I just answer, and it doesn't mean I can't answer live or in the moment, it means the longer you give me to process, the more depth comes out in that response. It's just a scale, just like I've said, it's always a binary of the two. It's always, where you're at on the spectrum of that. Wow, there's a lot coming out right now, 4323 and other things. How do I have the questions right now? I have an open head center, or undefined head center, and the questions that come through my head are not mine. They're from the field. They're from others. And so I write them down. I write questions down that I think have some sort of value, where I look, and I mostly look in the realms of education, learning, and basic needs, education, health, food, care for yourself, care for others, those kinds of things, relationships, those basic fundamental things that people are built on. I look at those things, that's where my vision gets pulled at. And so all of my interactions are usually around those kinds of things. Inner vision transmissions. I invite all of you, any of you, ask questions. You ask me questions. I'll write them down. And then I filter through them. I go back and I wait a day and I filter through them. And the ones that are there, I do a video like this, an inner vision transmission. This is live. This is an uncut response. This isn't I don't have a bunch of notes. My eyes are closed. I haven't memorized anything. This is my body talking and sharing. My personality is listening right now. It's not watching anything because I can't see out my body, but I'm observing what's happening right now. Ask questions, you might get answers, I guess. That was a long one. Be yourself. Take care.